Hello YouTubers, this is Cessna Ace back again with another video. I have added 5 more VHD titles to my collection. All of them from RecoBanchou in Japan. Most of these were not already in the Laserdisc database when I purchased them, however, they all are now. First up, we have a film. I believe the English language title on this film is Godzilla Raids Again. No, not Herbie Rides Again, although I believe that's also available on VHD. Godzilla Raids Again. There have been a total of 28 Toho produced Godzilla films. This is Toho VideoDisc Release TVD 2024. And even though this film was technically shot in widescreen, well, if you consider widescreen 1.771 or something like that, not very wide at all, this transfer is full screen. Not typical for a Japanese video release. They seem to prefer to release widescreen films letterboxed. Side 1 runs 50 minutes 30 seconds. Side 2, 31 minutes 8 seconds. Copyright 1955. Do not purchase VHDs and then take the inserts and cut them up and frame the picture parts or anything like that. Do not do that. Okay. I can't tell when that was released anyway. But I had read online that the late released VHDs came out in '86. However, I have been finding, and other people have been finding, releases at RecoBanchou that came out in '87 and quite a few that came out in '88. So, next up, also from Toho. This is a strange one. It's a Godzilla film, yes. But what's strange about it is it apparently had 2 different releases with the same catalog reference number. Toho VideoDisc DVD 2013. I say that because after I found this at RecoBanchou and bought my copy, I came across another copy that had the jacket with the title printed in English. That is the English language title. I submitted it at the Laserdisc database, but before Julian could verify that it existed, it apparently had sold. So it may be a while before it is verified. This was shot in widescreen. Boy, was it ever. And its original theatrical aspect ratio of 2.35 to 1 has been preserved. Thank you, Toho. Side 1, 55 minutes, 14 seconds. Side 2, 37 minutes, 49 seconds. One of these days, I'm going to have to get into how it was this format, which does not have grooves, but it is a capacitance disc system like the CED format, which does have grooves, how it was able to read the discs. Okay, this is one I added to the Laserdisc database because when I came across it at RecoBanchou, it was not in there. This was originally released in English, so it retains its English language title and language track. It does have very small, i.e. unobtrusive Japanese subtitles. Coming soon from Kick Video. Directed by John Landis, scenes from 50 of Universal's greatest horror films. Narrated by a very young Jamie Lee Curtis. This came out in '83. Her segue is kind of funny into Psycho. My mother had some problems with this place, and then it cuts to the Bates Motel. Oh. This is a single-sided release. The VHD format was capable of being encoded with up to 99 chapters per disc. Notice chapter 41 is E.T., which I don't technically consider a horror film, and it's not technically a trailer or anything like that, like most of the clips are from here, but rather behind the scenes look at the making of E.T. This, I believe, was released on Laserdisc. This is VHP 58020. However, I and others at the Laserdisc database who have been going through RecoBanchou have been coming across quite a few titles on VHD, anime especially, that were VHD exclusives. Here's the insert. Part of it, this insert is thicker than the last one. Alfred Hitchcock's Family Plot, Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy, which I had to do a triple take on that one at one point because there were already two different releases in the Laserdisc database on VHD for Frenzy with two different catalog reference numbers, and then I came across a third one. Yes, after checking it several times, Frenzy was released on VHD 3 times. But one of the releases, I would take it to be the latter of the releases, is bilingual. Then you have The Birds, Rear Window, Psycho, Psycho 2, Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3. Note there is also, although not pictured, a JAWS 3D, which you have if you have the 3D headgear, which I do, and you have a player with 3D mode, and I do. If you pop that in there, you can watch it in 3D, or you can turn the 3D mode off and watch it in 2D, or you can take that 3D disc and put it in a player with 2D only, and it'll play just fine. The first year the format was out, it did not have 3D mode. Okay, then there's Friday the 13th, Part 2, Friday the 13th, Part 3. It says Friday the final chapter. So it didn't say the 13th. But anyway, I remember when that came out, which this says 1984. I remember turning to a coworker. I was working at WAWS TV 30 in Jacksonville, Florida at the time. And I told Carolyn, I said, yeah, if it makes money, there'll be the new generation or the next generation or the rebirth or whatever. They'll find a way, and they did. Videodrome, Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III The Search for Spock, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Thing, that would be John Carpenter's version of The Thing, Cat People. Also, they give you, in English, and Japanese too, what each chapter is for. Chapter 1 is the beginning, and they don't even mention that. Chapter 2, King Kong vs. Godzilla. Chapter 3, Karuku, Beast of the Amazon, 1956. Then Marnie, 1964. Black Friday, 1940. The Nightwalker, 1964. Frenzy, 1962. Psycho, 1960. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923. That's the version with Charles Lawton. Phantom of the Opera, 1925. Francis the Talking Mule, 50 to 56. Remember, this was directed by John Landis. Frankenstein, 1931. Dracula, 1931. The Wolfman, 1941. The Mummy, 1932. The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. She-Wolf of London, 1946. Weird Women, 1944. Invisible Woman, etc., 1941. Tarantula, 1955. That film gave me nightmares as a kid. I apparently saw it on TV, and I probably shouldn't have, because I was real young at the time, and it gave me nightmares. The Incredible Shrinking Man, 1957. This Island Earth, 1955. Monolith Monster, 1957. The Deadly Mantis, 1957. The Mole People, 1956. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know, I think I might have said Lagoon. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954. Revenge of the Creature, 1954, which was, according to Jamie, shot in 3D, but released 2D. The Creature Walks Among Us, 1956. Chapter 23, does it say what it is in English, just Japanese? Chapter 24. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, 1943. House of Frankenstein, 1944. House of Dracula, 1945. I'm thinking the parts that don't have an English language title aren't a film, but one of the segue segments with Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, The Mummy's Hand, 1940. The Mummy's Tomb, 1942. The Mummy's Ghost, 1944. The Mummy's Curse, 1945. Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, 1955. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, 1948. Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1953. Invisible Agent, 1944. Monster on the Campus, 1958. Son of Dracula, 1943. Dracula's Daughter, 1936. The Brides of Dracula, 1960. The Birds, 1963. E.T., the Extraterrestrial, 1982. And while they don't mention it, they then go into a edited segment of upcoming horror films from Universal, including a remake of Dracula. Okay, this is from CBS Fox Video. This is volume 1. It was not in the database when I found it. However, it's since been added, and on top of that, someone has found volumes 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't know how far they went. Playboy Video, volume 1. Yes, there is nudity on this double-sided disc, and yes, there is fogging, because it's a Japanese released video. However, it is less obtrusive fogging than is typical for a Japanese release. By the way, I didn't think it was right when I came across, when I was going through the Laserdisc database, their VHD section, and I came across Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, but not the first 3 parts. So I went to RecoBanchou. Sure enough, I found parts 1, 2, and 3, and submitted them, and then found that I got beat out by somebody else. This is also in English, with unobtrusive Japanese subtitles. Okay, this is a Hong Kong film. It has dialogue in Mandarin, Cantonese, English, and I'm thinking there was another one. But anyway, those of you who have seen the film know what I'm talking about. A Better Tomorrow. In fact, I believe I have this on 2 other formats, VCD and DVD. Still has the shrink wrap on it, but it has been opened. This is from Herald Videogram. Side 1, 47 minutes, 6 seconds. Side 2, 48 minutes, 13 seconds. This has to be a late release for VHD. Or at least it has to have been released by, or in 87 or 88, because it says right on Caddy, copyright 1987, Cinema City Company Limited. In fact, I knew there was something wrong when I started seeing films that were originally released in the U.S. and that were American movies that were released in '88 and they were on VHD. Wait a minute. If they stopped releasing VHDs in '86, how is that possible? It's not. That format lasted longer than '86. This is also letterboxed. 1.85 to 1, if I remember correctly. RecoBanchou. Okay. I think I've remembered to cover everything. Until next time, stay awesome.